The weather this month could be called a triple threat. A combination of snow and ice, accompanied by frigid temperatures, generated undrivable conditions on some streets. The effects of this storm may also generate change in the way at least one community tackles winter storms in the future. WSAZ Investigates, plowing through a problem.
It's been a familiar scene throughout our region. Tires spinning away on rock-hard ice and heavily packed down snow. It was all created by a perfect storm, so to speak, of several inches of snow, followed by a quarter inch of freezing rain, topped off with additional snow, and finally, an encore of even more snow a few days later. Not to mention, this was all wrapped up in a blanket of Arctic temperatures. It's the stuff of nightmares for public works directors.
The problem was the ice that fell on top, and then we had the snow on top of that.
I would take 20 inches of snow instead of the ice. The ice is, you just cannot do anything with it.
You have the ice storm, really frigid temps that went on for a few days, and we actually had a few more skiffs, so we were never able to catch up. And then we had the storm on Friday night.
Brent Webster says the battle plan against the elements in Charleston is drawn up well before the first flakes fly.
Of course, we always want our vehicles to be ready to go, but we go and do all of our equipment check. There's a lot going on there with hydraulics and plows and lights, and so that's a big part of what we do.
Charleston has an arsenal of 17 plows/salt trucks to cover roughly 300 street miles. By way of comparison, Huntington has far fewer street miles, 189, with 10 trucks, while an even smaller city like Ironton employs 4 trucks for 50 miles. In a normal year, especially as we've experienced milder and milder winters, each public works director is comfortable with their equipment to street mile ratio. But the ice, snow, and frigid temperatures this month presented an unprecedented problem. One they're still dealing with and will be throughout the weekend, where side streets, skating rinks may finally get some attention.
That's our ultimate plan, is to get to everybody, but it's just been a real challenge because of the repeated storms.
Going out and, where we had maybe 2-lane path on a 4-lane road, trying to widen those traveling paths.
Certain events like the one we just went through, it took us nearly 5 days just to get those priority streets.
One of the biggest challenges after any significant storm, brick streets. Snowplow drivers are forced to adjust their approach from asphalt to brick.
Each snowplow, they got, it's called shoes, and these shoes are adjustable up to where you can get that cutting edge up off the brick.
Despite the challenge, Mike says they won't ignore a street simply because it's made of brick. Brent Webster said the same thing about brick streets in Charleston, and we noticed the same scene in Athens, Ohio, where the university town is brimming with brick streets. Many had clearly been plowed and salted.
Huntington's Public Works Director Mark Bates tells us you won't see a plow or a salt truck on any of the city's brick streets, with the exception of some hilly brick streets where they really have no choice. Bates, who himself lives in a brick street neighborhood, says it's a policy he inherited when he took the job a few years ago, intended to protect these historic brick streets, which were laid back in 1937 during the Roosevelt administration. But he admits he is not okay with the idea of completely ignoring so many city streets.
I will say that we are looking at other technologies possible in the future to have at our disposal. We're going to meet with some folks on Tuesday that have a product that they say that could help us with this. And so,
Like a chemical product.
It's a chemical product. It's liquid calcium chloride. Obviously, we want to do our due diligence and research this to see if it is a possibility of something that we can use.
Mark Bates says he and the new mayor, Patrick Farrell, will gather next week with a team of city employees for one of those no idea is a bad idea meetings to talk about the snow removal plan going forward.